Alright guys, so before we get started, I just want to say this is a slightly different video from normal. I was recently talking with some friends about the idea between like PvP versus PvE and why in recent I've been preferring PvE, which stands for player versus environment, over PvP, which is player versus player. So, firstly, PvP, while a few years ago, I definitely would have said I prefer player versus player over anything else. I was a big fan of shooters like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Halo, games like those, even like PvP in video games like Minecraft. I had found it to be a lot of fun, try and become the best player out there in a game. It was a lot of fun until recently when I've started to prefer PvE games, where instead of competing against other players, you're competing against the environment, whether it be trying to survive against elements or even just fighting against computers in CloneDroneInTheDangerZone. Now, my reason for switching from PvP to PvE might actually be somewhat different, because for a game to keep me interested, I have to find a reason to want to keep playing. And PvP, the only incentive there is to become the best player, whereas in PvE you get to learn about the environment, how the AI in the game interacts with certain things, and you get to mold yourself into the game rather than letting the game mold you and how you play it. Like in PvP in games like League of Legends or Overwatch or even Call of Duty these days, you have a meta, you have a meta gun, you have a meta strategy, things that are objectively better to do than others. And while some people might find it fun to figure out new metas in video games, I don't enjoy that. I find having to use the same strategy over and over again in a video game gets very repetitive. It doesn't become who's better at the video game, it's who's better at performing certain tasks within a game to become whoever comes on top. Whereas in PvE, since you're competing with AI, like the only real competition you can see is like potentially speedruns, or it's like who can complete it the fastest, or who can get X done with X little resources, or how fast can one do X thing, like a speedrun. I already said that. But the point is, like, the competition doesn't come from being the very best, it comes from comparing yourself to what others have done and then seeing if you can find something else that's faster or more effective. And you don't even have to do that to still have fun. You can just play the game, learn how the game works, try different strategies, all without being destroyed by some guy who's spent 10,000 hours in the video game already. And another point I want to add on to is the idea in PvP you either win or you lose. And while there is that type of idea in PvE games where it's like you either beat the AI or the environment, whatever you're up against, or you don't. However, in a PvP game like Call of Duty, you run around shooting opponents, and whoever gets the most score wins. If you win, you get a lot of XP, you get that added to your stats. And I mean, one, there's not a lot of gratification there. But two, if you lose, it's like, here's a little amount of XP for playing the game. We've worsened your stats. It's like, oh great, I played again and then you mocked me for it. Whereas in PvE, if you lose, it's like, oh okay, I understand why I lost this because this happened. If I change it slightly, or if I do this, then let's see how the game reacts to that. Rather than just, well, I guess they were just better than me. There isn't much I can do about that. And so, my point that I'm trying to get across is, while PvP can be fun and exciting, PvE is more logic based, and therefore I find it to be more fun, because PvE just is more you playing the game rather than learning the meta of a game, and you don't have to just either win or lose. You can adapt and learn. And while the recording I did for gameplay footage is not nearly as long as this, so I guess you'll get to have to see that in multiple parts, because I didn't record audio with it. So yay. Anyways, I just wanted to explain that a bit more. Friends can see it, whatnot. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. I just decided to talk about player versus player compared to player versus environment. So have a good one, and remember, I'm the best average gamer, even if I hate PvP.